Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey everybody, how we doing? Hopefully we are doing very, very well this evening. For those of you who did not manage to catch it, me and the good sis, Miss River, were on the Corey Holcomb show, and we are going to go over that. But we also going to talk about a couple of different things. We're going to go over my time on the Corey Holcomb 5150 show, but we're also going to go over what happened in the second half. We're going to go over what happened in Chicago. So you want to stick around for my assessment so far on the incident that transpired in Chicago about a day or two ago, where the woman got jumped on by a bunch of middle school kids with her child, pregnant with sickle cell. We're going to cover all of that. So you guys want to stick by, you want to take the time out, hit the like button on the way in, subscribe on the way in. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. All right. But first, we're going to go over my time on the Corey Holcomb show. Thank you so much, Sister Beshua. Gifted 5 Crimson Cure memberships. I appreciate her. If you ended up receiving a membership from her, please thank her. Okay. Yeah, it was a crazy video. That video was crazy, but we're definitely going to get to that. But what we're going to get to first is what we covered on 5150. So we're going to go ahead and share it down right now. Okay. So we're going to pretty much let it sort of play out, because before we get started, I was honored to be invited on the show to speak my piece to an audience who may not have ever heard anything that I've ever had to say or don't know what I'm about. So I was just glad to have that opportunity to speak to a wider audience. Shout out to Miss River. She's a wonderful young lady. She adds so much value to the conversations as well. I definitely appreciate her as well. Thank you so much, Chief Rocker. Said good to see you on the 5150. Is Trina there? I'm not going to say I know what that reference is, although it probably would be funny if I did know. But thank you so much, Chief Rocker. I appreciate you very, very much for the first contribution. Well, no, the second contribution. I'm sorry. Thank you. So we just gonna let it rock. Here we go.
Because I see her speak on the internet, and I love what you do. You are so needed, sister. You are so needed.
I appreciate.
And I know both of y'all got something to say. So I'm gonna find a way to make this.
The subsections and being able to call it and saying you two to come together, it just speaks volumes of the truth that is always being spoken, whether it's on my platform or even on her own platform, that you can see it. You know, you can decipher who is really in it for, just to be a part of the conversation, or who is in it to change certain dynamics and to bring light to certain things. So I love that.
That's right.
Exactly. I do appreciate you, Mr. Corey, for being able to, like Miss River said, come from sort of the outside of the niche where we are in YouTube and sort of bring out the people who have something relevant to say. I've been sitting back watching and I'm like, okay, he pulling the right people, you know what I'm saying? And he's pulling the people who really have something important to add to the conversations instead of arguments and just going back and forth just for clickbait, just to, and then nothing moves forward. We as a people, we have, and when I say people, I'm talking about Black people here in America, we need to figure something out, because the way that we spin around in circles and the way this quote unquote gender war has us talking past each other without coming to any sort of reconciliation or any type of solution, that it's time out for that. We either gonna speak the truth or be quiet at this point.
That's right. You how you start your show, what you say in your show is very much appreciated. How you started out in your introduction of your show, you know what I'm saying? I just don't think the mindset is like that for
any sound discrepancies that you're going to hear is not me. That's what was going on the show last night. So
for most of the women, I won't just say the sisters, I'm saying like, if you started out, and then River, I want you to answer as well. I think some of us realize we're in crisis where we have been pitted against each other. If we could take a moment, if you could take a moment to say something on how we can begin to mend the men against women, women against men thing, especially amongst us Black people. What would you say to the women who think that men are not necessary in their lives in order to blossom to what you can be, and vice versa? Because we need our women and the women need the men, because without each other, I think we see what's happening right now. So that's what I'm saying. Do you have anything you would say to the people about this, thinking you don't need a woman and thinking you don't need a man, Crimson?
I definitely have something to say about that. I speak extensively about that on my show to the ladies. Hold on, you guys, real quick. My apologies. The Black women, y'all are gonna have to drop down and come clean off of this nonsense. Not needing your men has always been a lie fed to you by a particular group of women in the form of feminism. And I speak highly against feminism. I'm very much against feminism. I'm with women having some type of choice in their life and things of that nature, being able to work or do things of that nature. However, not wanting to be accountable for anything, all of your actions are good or they're okay, or somehow you don't have to be responsible for how you behave in your relationships. You don't have to be responsible for how you behave as mothers of your children. We have a out of control single motherhood rate that needs to be addressed. You guys coddle one another all day, every day on the internet. All sis, it'll be all right. It's not all right. Our family units are broken completely, which broke the community. So now we have a consensus of what we think as a group of people. This is why we really can't move forward in this country the way that we need to. Because in order to have a community, you have to have a family. In order to have a family, you have to. Once again, everybody, any audio issues that you hear in this clip is the clip. There's nothing I can do about it. That was the sound. If you go to his page and listen to his clip directly from his page, okay, that is the clip. That is the way that the audio sounds. It is not me today, currently. Eye to eye as men and women. So now that you've been out of order for so long as a group of women, and now the men have pretty much taken their hands off of it and said, you know, well, you got it, since that's what you want to do. Now the men are saying, and you don't know where the masculine men are, but you booted their fathers out of the house. So their fathers their fathers are not there to raise the boys that you don't know how to raise into men. So what do they put their masculinity? They're learning how to be sassy like you, cuss folk out like you, wear bonnets like you, slippers like you, all outside with the pajamas on. This is what men would have corrected, but you don't like correction. And so you don't put correction to your children, and you don't like the men who would actually bring system, order, and structure to your life and to better your life, because that's what betters women. I'm gonna land my plane here. That's what betters women. Women get better when they have men around them in the form of fathers or brothers, good husbands, things of that nature that are going to bring order to them, because that's the basis of masculinity, is order, bringing order to things. That actually helps you rise as a woman. Taking accountability helps you become a better person, not just a better woman. And as long as y'all are not interested in taking accountability, that means you're not interested in growing. We'll stay stagnant, just like this.
Yeah.
Now, before we let Mr. Corey respond to that, it's a broad question that he asked. What message would I give to the women? Off the top of my head, that is what I want to convey at the root of things. Obviously, we can go further into it, and at the risk of being too long-winded on somebody else's platform, especially when there was another guest as well, I don't know how much he has watched my channel or not. But at the same time, that's almost irrelevant to the fact that we as women, I really wanted to hone in on the accountability part, because in my opinion, that's what's holding up the progress. The progress is truly being held up by women's lack of wanting to face the music and face accountability for what they do as a collective. It can't continue that women are always these innocent angels that are just victims of circumstance, and they don't know what's going on, and things just happen, and maybe they could be at fault. But when you really step back and you think about it, it's not really the women's fault. Narratives are false when it comes to them. Whatever they're going through, they can blame it on their emotional state, or they can blame it on some circumstance, or they can blame it on something. That's what we mean by no accountability. It's not even just no accountability between the women and the men and how they interact with men. There's no accountability in their life. We're going to see that when we talk about the parents of the Grim Lords that was attacking that lady in the second half. We're going to talk about the lack of accountability there. They just don't want to have accountability in anything that they do. It's not just that. I need us to expand that focus from just they don't take accountability when it comes to how they behave in relationships with men. They don't take accountability anywhere. not for what they do on a job, not for any failing that they have in life, not for any setback. Life is just happening to them, and it's woe is me. There's nothing I can do. Oh my God, how could you blame me? I was just little old me, and there's no way that it could have been like that. Like, I get tired of that. This goes back to the talking in circles. The circle talk is there to somehow find the loophole out of accountability, or really to make you so tired of listening to it that you just can't get to the point. So it's just forget it. The rationalization of everything that they do, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, no matter who it hurts, no matter what the outcome of the decisions were. I don't like it that feminism made women, in the one hand, feel empowered and they can do anything, and on the other hand, infantilized women. And women don't seem to understand that feminism makes you an infant. On the one, you're an empowered infant. On the one hand, you're powerful enough, you're smart enough, you're capable enough, you can do this and you can do that. But anytime anything goes wrong, anytime your outcomes are bad, now you didn't know anything. Somebody should have helped you. Someone should have told you. Someone should have guided you. There should have been this kind of help and that kind of support and these types of things and those types of things. And maybe you would have been helped, because the only way and the only reason that you were in these predicaments is because you just didn't have any support, and no one listened to you, and no one can hear you, and no one understands. Like, we tired. And the only reason that the Black community don't move forward is because the women don't understand how tired, the hyenas don't understand how tired everybody is of that. Because when do you grow up? That's the question. You know, when a species has the inability or the unwillingness to adapt, they die. They go extinct. When the environment changes and a species cannot adapt, they go extinct. That's the next step. They become an endangered species, and then they go extinct. The Black community as a whole is an endangered species. We are endangered culturally, and we are endangered financially, and we are endangered just from a relevant standpoint. We're coming to a point of being completely obsolete and irrelevant in any important way in this country. Politically irrelevant, financially irrelevant, culturally irrelevant, just irrelevant and obsolete. And I'm not completely taking everything off of the men, but at the same time, the women do not like accountability at all, to any degree. And you cannot completely divest yourself of accountability. There's no way to do that. How do you go through life? But Miss Davis, you can make content, I guess, about it and get views and likes and donations, so you good. What makes it good? Because I can run a singing channel. I can run a food channel. I could run a comedy channel if I wanted to. I could get on this internet and be silly and make way more money than I make. So I don't even understand what this was supposed to really mean. Like, what was this supposed to mean? That I make money? I guess it was supposed to mean, and you could correct me, Mr. Dwayne. Was this supposed to mean that I can monetize the dysfunction of the Black community, so therefore I should be okay with the dysfunction of the Black community. Is that what that was supposed to mean? Was that what that's supposed to mean? Because if that was supposed to mean, you respectfully, you can have your opinion of it. Also, I'm not going to be shamed for making $1. I'm not going to be shamed for getting the support from my wonderful subscribers, whom I make a pledge to come here and give them something of value in return for their hard-earned money and their generosity towards me. Because if Sexy Red can make millions of dollars supposedly, or at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, shaking her funky butt and putting out lip gloss that says gonorrhea flavored and get support, while she corrupt the minds of the young girls coming up who think it's cute, Cardi B can be a multi-millionaire with all of the shenanigans that she have online and rapping about WAP. Same goes for Megan Thee Stallion. They can make $1. A good dollar too. They make more than me. It itches me to hear stuff like that from the people in our community or what have you. Because one thing Black folk gonna do is shame you for $1. If you call yourself bringing something good to Black people, or you call yourself have a good message or something that you think might help, or you do something that you think might help, Black folk believe you supposed to do that, and you ain't supposed to get no $1 for it. Your time, your effort, and your energy is not worth anything. But you can stand in line for mics and iPhones. You can pay a car note for an iPhone, but the people who have good intent for the community, who might be doing anything, they don't got to be on YouTube. You don't even got to know who these people are. There are plenty of people who are behind the scenes. You'll never know their names. But they work diligently in their communities, trying to help the people in their communities. That's why people don't like to help. That's why Black people don't like helping Black people. That's how you get a subsection of Black people that make it out the hood and make it out of that type of mentality, and they say they're not coming back. They're not coming back. Coming back to help who? Coming back to help what? Who? Why? Not coming back to help nobody because nobody want to listen, and they expect you to go broke and penniless and homeless helping them. And when you do that, or give your life to do that, to help them, then Black people can give you your flowers once you dead, and then commenced to doing everything that you preached against and gave your livelihood and or your life in order to preach against it and help Black people away from it, and they go right back to it. They run right back to it. And see, I appreciate you, Men's Daily Room said, F him, you are answer to prayers and calls to action by the real men who needed to see real femininity in these times. Get your money, sis. And I appreciate that, Men's Daily Wisdom. I appreciate everybody's sentiment, because I know he sparked a rant, but the rant is no longer really about Mr. Dwayne. You know, it irked my soul, that poor righteous teacher stuff that we like to do in the Black community. Anybody that's doing a bunch of foolishness, we don't mind that they get money. We even support the foolishness and say, well, they acting crazy, but hey, at least they making money. They get money though. We like that. We like that poor righteous teacher, poor, anybody that's helping us or doing anything for Black people or having any mind to help or anything like that. You just got to be part of the dregs of society slightly. Like you just I don't want nothing, y'all. Just take everything that I have for the community. And it's not even like we move forward from that. It's not even like we move in a positive trajectory from that. And then you be the hero for a while, and then we gonna turn around and make you the villain. We done made Malcolm X a villain. We done made Martin Luther King a villain. We done made Fred Hampton a villain. Everybody a villain. Everybody from the past that helped us in or did whatever they thought was helpful to us in their time period, whatever they thought it was. We get to 60 years later, 70 years later, on Monday morning quarterback it and talk about how much bad decisions they made and they ain't this and they ain't that. Want to pick apart their personal life, to see what shortcomings they had and problems they might have had. Also, that we don't have to give them credibility for what they did do right. And we can dismiss them, and that way we don't have to be accountable to nothing that they was talking about. Let me go on a commercial break because I'm supposed to be talking about these Chicago people. But we're going to do a little bit more on the 5150 show before we talk about that. But after these messages, we'll be right back. So I need everybody to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. You want to keep your skin looking and feeling its absolute best, then you need this body butter that's on the screen right now, as well as the rest of their wonderful personal care products that I'm sure that you will enjoy. If it's going to be your first order, please take 10% off of that order using the promo code Crimson at checkout. Once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. I owe you guys a bam, 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 bam. You gotta hit the like button, bam, bam. You gotta go ahead and hit the like button. Thank you so much, Bakish, for your super stickers. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Samuel said, as you were. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mogul. I appreciate you as well. Thank you, HVAX. And Media Man has said Black men's marriage rates are increasing to 40% Black women will decrease to 25 from 29 by 2027. At this point, the issue can't be the men. Thank you, a vessel of honor. So they don't want to grow up. They want to remain Toys R Us kids. Exactly. Thank you so much, Lydell, for your service. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. So we're going to go back to it.
There it is. Reva, I met you in person briefly. And like I said, everything I can imagine you probably was, you turned out to be. You seems like a level-headed woman. With that question in the air, what you got to say?
It's so funny because, you know, as she's talking, I'm just like, absolutely. Like, first of all, just absolutely to what she's saying. And I wanted to piggyback on a couple of the things that she was saying. You know, she talked about the basis of the community. And interestingly enough, you guys started the conversation talking about Chicago. And even when you and I met, I was telling you how much I love like people from Chicago. I just love Chicago and the culture of it. But in the news, there was a woman who was jumped with her children, you know, walking down the streets of Chicago. And these weren't adults that were beating her up or beating her children up. These were children. And the woman actually has like, I think it's like sickle cell or something. She got in treatment. She was really weak. And they imposed violence upon her in front of her children and on her children as well. And all we keep seeing is a product of these environments based off of the same exact things that Crimson was saying, the breakdown of our family units. And we always have the women at the forefront of the breakdown. And there's like, no matter what we do, if we go around the circle, it always, unfortunately, and people are going to call me a pick me and say that I don't hold men accountable, but it's just the truth. It always goes back to a woman being the center of the breakdown of the family. You don't know how to respect your man. You don't know how to deal with him in the household. You emasculate him, which is going to cause him to now turn into other ways. Or you feel like I could just do this all by myself. I can depend on the government. I can do this. Me and my homegirls can raise our kids together. My homegirl gonna be my baby daddy. And you run the man outside of the children's life. So it always ends up going back to the woman at the forefront, causing this kind of dismay. Of course, we're gonna have different, you know, variances where you have a man.
And just to piggyback on what Miss River was saying, before I allow her to continue that thought, people would say it will be unfair to lay a lot of the responsibility on the women about the failures of the family. And again, it's not to say that there aren't any men out there who just don't do what they're supposed to do. They're in relationships, they fumble, they mess it up, they cause problems, they're argumentative, they don't know what's going on. They don't know how to behave in a relationship. They don't know how to communicate. We get that part. I think the part that other people don't get is content creators such as myself, such as Miss River, and other female content creators. We're not saying there's no men who have responsibilities that they don't meet the standard. The issue is we're talking to the women right now. Like, we're talking to the ladies. This isn't about whether the men have issues or not. We're talking to the ladies. That's the whole point. We're talking to you. We're talking to you about your part. We're not talking to women about men's parts. We're talking to women about women's part in this. And the reason that it's more pertinent to me to speak to the women about women's part in this is mainly because of the dodging of the accountability, the not wanting to just come to the table and come clean and let's actually move forward. Let's acknowledge what's going on, have an honest conversation, have some truth be told, face some truth, and move forward in the truth. That's what's holding it up. because the women want to keep running around in circles. No, it's not me. It's not me. I'm not the problem. The men are the problem. Focus on the men being the issue. Listen, let me tell you something. God gonna focus on the men being the issue. Because ultimately, the Most High put men in charge. He's going to hold the men accountable regardless. It's gonna be the men's fault in the eyesight of the Most High anyway. It's going to be their fault. It is their fault in his eyes. But that doesn't mean that you don't play a part in everything that's going on. You play a part as a woman in your area. You've abandoned posts in your area. You're not performing womanhood correctly in your area. You're dropping the ball in your area. So what about that? Because we can't focus on the men to the exclusion of focusing on you. We cannot focus on the general body of men to your exclusion. Oh, we just gonna focus on the men. We're not gonna focus on the women at all, as if the women don't have their own egregious set of issues that they refuse to face, actually. We could have been cleaned this up a good 5 years ago. We could have been got this together a good 5 years ago, but y'all don't want to get it together. Y'all want to be transactional in these relationships with these men. Y'all want to sell y'all coochie on TikTok. Y'all want to, you know what I'm saying, have all these quote unquote benefits of the men, and you don't want to be a wife because you feel like wifehood is slavery in some way, shape, or form. You're the one that don't like the station that the Most High put women in. You don't like that station. You don't like that position. So you're doing everything to act out so that you're not even in that position at all. That's on you. At some point, you're going to have to wake up. Yeah, I know it was a bunch of propaganda. And the propaganda, but listen, let me tell you something. America's propaganda machine strong. If they want to push anything, it will be pushed. It will be pushed. If they want to push any form of nonsense, it will be pushed. That's how we got here with feminism. That's how we got here with the LGBT stuff. That's how we got here. That's how we got here with that stuff. So I get it. I get that the propaganda was strong, but at what point you gonna wake up? Because we done already showed you the background of the matrix. We done already showed you the ones and the zeros. We done already showed you that. We're gonna let her continue.
And who's actually not playing his part. But I feel like what we see in society, the proportion of men who are actually just not playing their part is a very small portion. There's a lot of men, stand-up men, Black men who stand in the paint. So funny, when I had a conversation with you and we were talking about abortion, actually, you know, it's so funny because the point that I made even then, I have to bring it back up now. You know, there's so many women who you know, they have this thought in their mind that they're going to abort a child or that they don't want the child, right? And then you have a man that's there that's like, you know, I'm cool, like whatever it is. The man ends up taking better care of the child, whether he didn't want the child, whether he did want the child. Once the child is there, ironically enough, the man will stand there, be there, whatever. A lot of times the women take all their emotions, their frustrations. You don't want to be with me, I'm not going to raise my child. You don't want to do this. They put their emotions at the forefront. It's unfortunate, but a lot of these women are self-centered. They think about their own emotions, their own feelings. And I feel like the core of what's missing in the Black community when it comes to women is their connection to spirituality. 100%. A lot of these women are just flesh. right? And I know, like, you know, with that terminology, a lot of people will know what I mean. Their mind is just about things and what they can buy and what they can obtain and materialistic things, but they have no connection to the source of creation within itself.
That was a super key point that Miss River pointed out. The women themselves, and ultimately that is what is missing. That's what's wrong. And I have said this so many times, that that's what's wrong with women. The lack of spiritual attachment, the lack of spiritual knowledge, the lack of spiritual connection is got so many women messed up out here. So many women only think in this small little bitty way. What small, minuscule material gains can I get? You know, anywhere from just getting nails and hair done to living a whole lifestyle on a yacht. It doesn't matter, quote unquote, how much money. All of it is small. All of it is small when we think about it from a macro standpoint of what's really important. Many of these women have no spiritual connection. They don't know who they are. They're empty. They're empty. They are empty vessels. They're not just vessels or weaker vessels. They're empty vessels, which is the worst. It's the worst, because if you don't fill yourself up with the Most High, the Shaitan gonna fill you up. He the one gonna fill you up. If you don't fill yourself up with the Most High, then Shaitan is going to fill you. He'll make sure you're full, and you'll be full of every piece of foolishness, every piece of sin, every piece of everything debaucherous and crazy. You'll be full of it. You'll be full of that. And it will be to your doom in this world and the next. It will be to your doom. Zero connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Zero. None. Don't even try to. Don't even try. I don't care if you're Muslim or you Christian or you got a Bible, or whatever it is. You don't even try to crack it open. You don't even try to look at it. You don't even try to read no kind of verses or nothing. Talking about you going on a healing journey. What kind of healing journey you going on without God? Which one? Because I promise you that is not a healing journey that you are going on. I promise you it's not. I promise you that's not what that is going to be. This is why they don't get no results out of it. Because if you don't include God, and I mean include him in a real way, not in a superficial way, not in a, I kind of go to church a little bit, or I'm into spirituality, that foolishness. I'm tired of that. I mean, and really understand who it is that you are referring to. I'm not gonna get super spiritual with y'all right now, I swear to y'all. But for the most part, we as a group of Black people and as women, we have zero real knowledge of who it is that Allah actually is. We have no real understanding of that. Everything that's happening in our lives is happening because we wanted it to happen. I don't care how crazy it is. Most people's problem is a lack of faith or an absence of it. That's the those are the number 1 and 2 problems in the entire world. Weakness of Iman, lack of Iman. And this may not hit y'all right now, but it'll hit you. It'll hit you at some point. World got 2 problems. Weaky man, lack of man.
And so they don't even know who they are. They don't even know how to find direction. They don't even know how to find their center because they don't have any.
I know what you mean exactly when you say that, but you know, I thought of some questions that I wanted to ask you ladies, because another thing, humility in society, I think, is something that is missing. So I thought of this question because I will listen to the two of you, where it would be hard for me to listen to other ladies, but the two of you, I can't, especially Miss the Crips sister. I can't wait to hear what she has to say about this. Me myself, I am a philanderer. I am a man who is of means and can afford to help females I deal with. Did you at least get that part? So because I am who I am, and I say I think that it's not as bad or whatever I want to come up with because I help females I deal with. Can I get a piece of y'all mind about a man like me who deals with more than one woman, but comes with the works to help them become what they possibly can be potentially? That's the way I said it. Or you can just break it down how you want to break it. I just want to know what you think about somebody like that. Hey, please be honest with me, because my feelings don't get hurt easily. Craig facts, by the way.
Yeah, Crimson,
but anyway, I can't wait to hear what you got to say. Give it, don't hold back. Knock me upside the head. This is who you got in your community. And I say about people and all this, but I know that that's one thing I do, and I'm standing on it. So what do you think about it? Men like me.
Here's what I'll say. Let me say this. I actually don't have an issue with men, if they're honest, being with more than one woman at a time. Honesty has always been my sticking point for that, because I don't believe that a man needs to. Huh? What'd you say?
I said, do we have your phone number? I'm just poking at you. Go ahead, sister. I'm just messing with you.
That's always been my sticking point for that. Just honesty. Because really the reality is men don't need to lie about that. If he dealing with more than one woman, let the women know that that's what's going on. They gonna G for it. And the reason why I say they gonna G for it is because anytime a dude have a man or a wife, don't the side chick always go for it? And when he tell the side chick the truth, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got a woman, da 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 da. And she be like, okay, you know, and all that foolishness. So that's my first point. Honesty, you know, give a woman a choice to do that, and that way they can't squawk about what they didn't know and all of that type of thing. The second point is, I don't believe that people cheat on each other if they're not married and in a committed relationship with one another. Ain't nobody cheating on. A lot of these chicks that say they got cheated on was never in a relationship with the man to begin with. So they have not been cheated on. Now, third point. You want me to keep it real? We're going to keep it real.
Man, please don't. Please.
Now, when we talk about you, Mr. Corey, I remember that you did an interview with Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And you was talking about how you would assist these women.
Yes. Yes.
We would assist these women. And I'm not going to lie to you. I said, you know what? Corey kind of got some hyena in him. He kind of got that hyenaism in him. He is. but you got the hyena bug, you know. I said, but here's the thing that I thought, and you can correct me if my assessment is off. Now, y'all know that, you know, you got to act like you got some home training when you meet folks for the first time and talk to them for the first time. Because, you know, I called that man a hyena after that Cam interview. And there was no way that I was going to go on his show and not stand on business. Baby, I done called you a hyena, beloved, for that very reason. Because you be paying them women and, you involve yourself with the whole trick situation. I'm gonna pay your bills. I'm gonna pay you, your nail money or whatever kind of money I'm gonna pay you for whatever it is that you're doing for me. So if we gonna have sex for a little while and we gonna roll for a little while, then okay, well then that's what we gonna do. We have a transaction going. We don't have a relationship. We have a transaction. Now that is the essence of boneyard activity in terms, because the transactional quote unquote relationship is in the boneyard. That is a hyena's relationship. That whole trick, you know what I'm saying? I'm turning tricks. I'm a hoe. You know what I'm saying? I want some dude to just kind of trick off a little bit, blah, 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 blah. That is definitely in the boneyard. So, I was just trying to be diplomatic, but that I could not say that, because that live stream is up, baby, and I stand on what I say. I'm not taking it down. It's definitely up. You can go find it and quote me on it. But like I said, you got to act like you got home training when you're talking to folk for the first time and all that good stuff. But the assessment that I made about that, as it concerns you, from what I heard of that conversation, I said, Corey, I don't think Corey sees a lot of women who are wife worthy. So therefore, he's not really working on that wavelength. If it's not a lot of women who are going to be wife worthy that are going to require him to do or operate differently than that, he not interested in operating differently with that. If y'all gonna be hoes, we gonna play with these hoes out here. Period, point blank. If y'all gonna be transactional, then it's gonna be what it is, because that's what y'all want. You got a couple of dollars rubbing around in your pocket, and these chicks is out here throwing box. They want money, you want box. We can make a deal. We can strike a whole deal, because if that's how you're going to play the game, you're not going to be a good woman. You're not going to be a wife-worthy woman. You're going to be in a situation where you're trying to call yourself playing me, and I'm not going to be played, because I'm not coming into this situation with you blind or, naive, or thinking that you're going to give me a value that you're not going to give me. I know I heard what your mouth say, but we just trying to figure out what the mouth do, beloved. So I'm going to give you a few dollars for your hair and your nails and your bill or whatever it is that you want to do. And that's how we're going to play the game. So that's what I felt about that conversation, that specifically that you had with Cam Newton at that time. I forgot when you had it, but I said that's what it strikes me as for Mr. Corey. If there were more wife-worthy women, he would play by that rule book. But since it's not, and it's just these hoes out here, whatever.
Wife-worthy is very rare in these streets. I don't like to argue with people. I know what calms down 90% of the stop asking me when I'm gonna call again, because that's not part of the transaction.
Pretty much. And if that's the type of time that the women are going to be on, in my opinion, they can't be mad about that, because women have transformed the way in which men relate to them. And I always say on my channel, women are the gatekeepers of sex and men are the gatekeepers of relationships. So men can't have sex if women don't say so, and women can't be married and in committed relationships if men don't say so. And if the women are going to be loose with that gatekeeping, if they're not going to really gatekeep, or they're going to enter into the realm of prostitution with it, basically, I'm going to trade sex or sexual favors for my bills to be paid or my hair to be done or whatever lifestyle I'm trying to live, or I'm going to be a groupie or whatever level is happening on. If you're going to play in that arena with men, then you can't be mad that the men aren't trying to fulfill a better role or a higher role or a husband role, because that's not who you presented yourself as a woman. You didn't present yourself as wanting a husband. You wanted a trick.
Right. Now, River, I've met you before, and
one thing Corey gonna do is Corey is gonna not remember your name. That's one thing he don't do. But there's also a different component too. Corey, and I get where Corey was coming from with that question. He asked that question as a test of credibility. for myself, probably more so than Miss River, because he met her before and spoke to her before. But that was a credibility test, because if I believe what I'm saying and he presents something and it's about him, the test was, am I going to keep it real, or am I going to be kissing butt and backpedaling because I am in front of his face? Now I'm on his show. Now you can't say what you're saying. And just a little bit, we don't respect that in Chicago. We don't respect that in Chicago. You said what you said, right? Is you cool? Because I heard what you said. So you said that? Is that what you said? Because now, had I been a noodleback or a backpedaler or somebody that don't stand on business, I automatically lose credibility, not only in his eyes, but actually in my subscribers' eyes. See, this is why it pays to be authentic. This is why it pays to be authentic. This is why it pays to only say things that you actually mean when you say them. Because if you're not gonna mean what you say, it ain't no use in you saying it. Now, I can be corrected if I'm factually incorrect. If I've said something and it can be factually not, you know what I'm saying, it can be factually corrected. Well, you know what I'm saying, Krem saying you was wrong here and here because you was wrong here and here because this is what the facts really are and blah, blah, blah. I can always be corrected. But my insights are my insights. If I said something about you, I meant that. Now, if some new information came along to make me change my opinion or make me change my insight, then that's fine. We can do that. But please understand that if I said something about you and you didn't really cotton to it too much, I meant it. I meant what I said. I meant what I said. And we can have a conversation about it, because I probably wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was just telling the truth as I see it. And that conversation that Mr. Corey had with Cam, that was a hyena conversation. I actually, and I'm going to tell you this much, and I may have to say this in front of Cam Newton face. Who knows? But I respect Corey more than I respect Cam, because Corey is straight up. He about what he about. He not about what he not about. It is what it is. He not trying to have no real relationship with you. He might not even want one. Cam is manipulative. Cam is manipulative. Cam does not have good, he's not true to who he is and what he is. And that's the part I don't really respect about Cam. Cam is not true to who he is. Cam won't just be real and be, this who I am, this how I operate, this how I move, blah, 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 blah. He's too busy trying to be better than he is as a person. He wants people to think well of him, but he doesn't want you to say what it is that he's doing, whether it's women or men, because he had some guys on there that straight call him out. Like, what are you saying? What are you doing? The way you operating, this is incorrect. And he be getting visibly upset. So I will say that I got more respect for how Corey moved, because Corey just gonna say, what you want me to do? This how I'm operating. They either taking it or they leaving it. They either want me to do this or they don't.
Cool. Don't hold back. What do you think about the philanderers of society? But the ones that pay their way. I'm not talking about guys. I don't respect men who lay up off women. I don't respect that. If you ain't got no hustle, I can't even hang with you. But I'm saying there are men who give gifts for what they got. What about us guys like that?
Well, it's funny because even though I know you're saying you're not talking about the people who just lay up with women, but I think it would be doing the conversation an injustice by not bringing them into the conversation. I'm going to tell you why. Because I think it's a proven fact that women will accept so many different things from a man as long as she's getting whatever she wants to get out of the equation. So sometimes a man is coming to the equation and he don't got no money, but he got something that satisfies her, whether that is intimately, whether that's emotionally, whatever it is. And she will deal with and be a part of and have kids for and be the proud representative girl number 4 in the equation. Go over to people's house, fight them for the man, all the above to protect whatever it is that she feels that she's getting from the equation. Likewise,
she made an excellent point here. Miss River made an excellent point. And that works good and bad. That works on the negative and the positive spectrum. This is why I be telling men, it's not always about your money. It's not always about your money. Because if a woman is truly being fulfilled by you, whether that's toxic or healthy, your money means less to her. How much money you got in your pocket, how much money you got to spend, and this, that, and the third, that actually means less because she buys into you. She buys into you as a person. Okay? On the toxic side of that, this is where you get chicks that'll ride for a dude that don't do nothing hardly all day but rub his feet together and play PS4. And you be trying to figure out what kind of hole he got on her. It's not always the sex. It's whatever trauma bond she getting from him or whatever thing that she's missing. And she might not be able to articulate what that thing is, but he gives it to her. Whatever it is, he gives it to her. Even if it's destructive, even if it's negative, whatever it is, he gives it to her. And so therefore, she's going to go to the ends of the earth for this dude. She'll have her baby, like Miss River said, she'll have them babies, she'll stick by. He can go have other women. All she gonna do is be mad for a little while, but then it's gonna be all right. She gonna stay. All kind of other stuff can be going wrong. And she will be like, nope, I'm good. I'm staying with him because XXXX thing. I'm getting that thing from him. Regardless of whatever he do, I'm getting that thing from him. That happens on the toxic side, but it also happens on the healthy side. That also happens on the lioness side. If a man can get a lioness to buy into him, just to buy into him, just to buy into the concept of him, just to buy into his vision, buy into his purpose, buy into the road that he's on, his money means less to her. It means much less to her than it would in some other situation because that's not his value to her. I'm talking about on a good spectrum, on a healthy relationship spectrum. This is also how you get lionesses that get with men that's on their upward trajectory. She don't wait at the finish line. She come when he start. She get in on the ground level with him. And she'll just go. Because he fulfills these things that she needs. He fulfills her emotionally. He made his masculinity is good. His system, order, and structure is good. His leadership is good. All of these things are good. When a man's leadership is good, when his system, order, and structure is good, when he's solid as a man, he might not have the monies per se, especially at that moment. But that doesn't stop him from being a solid man. That doesn't stop that. And a woman who's looking for the solid man, who's looking for that good leadership, who's looking for a grounded individual. He's grounded in his spirituality. He's grounded in his health. He's grounded in his family. He's grounded in his principles. He's grounded in his values. That groundedness that he has, that stability that he has, is not just his financial stability that she's looking for, but he's stable emotionally, he's stable mentally, like he's stable in his life. He runs things in a stable, forward, clear way. So lionesses like that. They like the clarity of it, because it make us feel safe. It make us feel safe with him. We feel taken care of by him. And as long as we feel taken care of by him, his money don't mean as much. He don't have to, spend no exorbitant amount of money. He don't always gotta, cough up all this crazy money, and the moment he don't got it, that's when we about to act a fool and all of that type of stuff. We just gonna buckle down with him. So she actually made an excellent point about how women see things. That's a part of the nature of women when we deal with men. And it happens, like I said, on the negative end of that spectrum, on the toxic end, but it also happens on the healthy lioness end.
Same with women. If they see a man, hence why you have men like, artists. I'll just use, Chris Brown, for example. If you look on the Shade Room post of a Chris Brown post, you have all these women willing to be sister wives for this man who has a certain amount of income, who they think looks a certain way, whatever it is. Women are willing to share. And I think that there's a lot more women who follow the status quo of what the sisterhood says that women are supposed to do and are not honest with themselves. Because I like what Crimson said about transparency, about men being transparent. And because, if a man comes to the table and a woman wants you, she's going to deal. If you have multiple women, if you pay in your way, whatever it is, if she want to be a part of that, she's going to be a part of it. But also, I think that there's a lot of women who are delusional enough that a man will come to the equation. He's showing you completely who he is. And then you have the nerve to talk about, I can't believe you cheating on me, when he never showed you anything different. He never showed you that it was only you. He never showed you that he only wanted to be in a relationship with you. You took that situation of a man who was with multiple women and decided, I want this man, which leads me to the next point. There's so many women who are with men who they know, because there are so many men who are capable, either financially, emotionally, intimately, whatever way, or all of the above, and they are more than capable of being effectively with more than one woman at the time. And you have so many women who want that man to be their husband. But the man who says, I only want you, I don't want to be with nobody else, I'm looking for a wife, I want to have kids, I want to, the white picket fence, I want all this. They're like, no, I don't want that man. I want the man that all these women want, that has the capability of having all these women. I want that man to be my husband instead.
Listen, I talk to y'all all day. We got Craig and Darlene here, so I never want to hog y'all all to myself. I'm gonna let them ask a question or whatever they want to ask, but I just want to tell y'all, I'm such big fans of y'all. And Crimson, I'm gonna be in Chicago, not this weekend, but next weekend, and I hope you and your peoples can come to the show. I don't form is to be like, hey, y'all, check this out. It ain't all bad. Here goes some good people right here who got some good stuff to say. You know what I'm saying? So, Darlene, do you want to talk to the sisters or ask them about anything?
I don't actually have a question right now offhand, but much respect. And, you know what? Well, kind of. We have spoken about this before. So now that their sisters are on here, I can actually ask them directly. I sometimes, not necessarily on this show all the time, but more often than in outside of here, get told that if I'm reporting a story, let's say, right, this is his show, I'm on his show, but I cover stories and people say, oh, well, you're not Black. Why is she saying the story? Well, what am I going to cover? What am I to say? Is that, do you see that as a problem? Because I've gotten messages from people saying that, like, well, it's not your place. You're
They
not.
want you to report on everything happening in Mexico.
That's what I'm saying. They want me to say, I'm like, what? Then they'll end up, I just feel like then they'll end up complaining like, well, that's not, why do we need to know about her? I don't like that story.
You can't make everybody happy. Somebody just said why Corey can't find a good woman. I got a good woman, by the way, but goddamn it ain't all in your business.
I thought I would actually
Cake ass motherfucker.
Their opinion on that. I don't know.
Oh, but go ahead.
I'm always getting told though that stuff like I don't know what you feel about any of that. No, I don't. I'm just asking you. Yeah. So see, I don't. And that's why I go,
you're doing
stop.
Your job. You have
what do they expect me to report?
That's the segment that you're doing, Miss Darlene. You doing a segment on news reporting, things that might have been going viral or whatever the case may be. And that's what you're doing. Girl, what they talking about in the chat room, girl? You can't make these internet folk happy. You'll be tap dancing on the moon trying to make them folk happy and they'll be mad.
Thank you.
I want to say something too, because you know why? When it comes to stuff like that, Darlene, Crimson, I've seen it, Crimson and myself alike, we're Black women. And there's so many women who have come for Crimson and myself. Oh, y'all don't like Black women, blah, 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 mammies. They call us all kinds of names, right? And the truth of the matter is if y'all at the forefront doing foolishness, I'm going to talk about it. I don't care what you look like. I personally do not care. If I can see a white, Spanish, if you're doing foolishness as a woman, I'm going to hold you accountable. Now, I think we should be having a deeper conversation. Why are our women always at the forefront of the foolishness? Should be the deeper rooted conversation, but they don't want to have that conversation because then that would lead to accountability. So then they rather deflect, oh, this, you shouldn't be talking about this. They love to say that on the internet. Oh, y'all need to stay out of Black people business. It's all of our business. Y'all doing it publicly. Why can't we all talk about it?
Damn right, goddamn it, because you was talking about them two women got kicked out the hotel and Beckham, so-called phantom bitch and all that shit, River. And I'm just saying, it's like, if it's on the internet, it's gonna get talked about. And if it makes you mad, I don't know how you take it personally, because the stuff that's said about me, I laugh at it, the lies and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh yeah, really?
You got to, or just ignore it. Simply just ignore it.
Craig, what's happening? Craig, talk to the ladies.
Hello, beautiful women. Cribs, I feel like you're on the run for telling bad fortunes. You in the Caribbean somewhere? you in the Caribbean, baby. But
not in the Caribbean.
Where you are? Yeah, you got a Jamaican vibe to you.
No, sir. Not Caribbean at all.
Okay, this is a serious question, because I hear a lot of Black women in our culture are really obsessed with men having big old penises, right? So my question is, if a man,
it was Darlene's face for me. It was Darlene's face for me. She said, like, where would it come from? I wasn't expecting to say that. I probably should have expected something like that, but I didn't.
And is not Africanly endowed, does that make him less African? Like, are you like, you know,
stupid, Craig?
There's a nigga, I want to know, because that's a big conversation. Women always talk about how much size somebody got, and if he, what does that mean to y'all? Is that bullshit?
I'm gonna let Ms. River handle it. She's single. I'm gonna let her handle it. You go first.
I'm not single.
I'm
not single, but I will have the conversation. And
now, people was trying to say I was throwing shade on her when I said she was single. I really thought she was single. She gathered me together real quick, though. We're not gonna lie. She gathered me together real quick. So if Miss River listening to this, I did not mean no harm, beloved. I didn't know that you were in a relationship, sweetheart, because the last information that I knew or was aware of is that you was a single young lady. And the only reason that I said that like that is because I felt like it was an inappropriate question for a married woman to answer. And plus, I didn't really have an answer for that anyway. So that's the only reason that I said it. And that's why I said why I thought she was single, because I thought if she's not in a committed relationship and she's a younger woman, that might be a question for her to play with, or something like that. But I wasn't trying to throw no shade. I wasn't trying to be funny with her, but I definitely was gonna sidestep a question like that, especially in a setting like that. And I know on a 5150 they're gonna joke and they roast and stuff like that, and that's cool. I ain't got no problem with that. But at the same time, certain questions I may or may not even answer, depending on how I feel that even answering the question would be. You understand what I'm saying? It's got to be in context, is what I'm saying. Certain stuff got to be in context. It can be touchy, you know what I'm saying? I'm not some type of a nun or something like that, but it have to have some type of context to it so that it can be respectable, have some value. So that's that was pretty much the show. If you want to go finish watching it, I definitely advise you to go, encourage you to go watch the show. They're very hilarious. But we're gonna switch gears a little bit. Before we switch gears, I'm going to check out the rest of the super chats. Thank you, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you, my brother, for the contribution. Thank you, Bishop Jermaine. Says not Jermaine's fault on this one. Assalamu alaikum, assalamu rahmatullah barakatuh. And may Allah continue to bless you in conveying this beneficial content to the people. I appreciate that, brother. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much, 21st Century Viking. Thank you, Mr. Terenzo. Say, know thyself, heal thyself, master thyself, or someone else will. Salute, twin, and everyone. Thank you so much, Tutal. Say, excellent Crimson Cure. Many of these women say they want a God-fearing man, and we know that they do not. Thank you so much. So we've been here an hour 20. I did not mean to spend that much time on I didn't think it would take up that much time talking about the reviewing the show. I wanted to talk about the Chicago situation, but I know that's going to be another hour and a half. Am I going to be allowed to do a part 2? Not necessarily part 2 of this, but can we stick a pin in it till Friday? Because I want to talk about the Chicago thing, but that's going to be a whole thing. Listen. The way these chicks is on this internet defending them little grim lords that they done raised. So this is what I'll do. Because it's gonna be another hour and a half. And I don't know that I got another hour and a half in me tonight. Because I was not planning on spending the whole show in review. Of course, I don't know why I didn't think it would be like that, but and that's what I was thinking too. It deserves a deep dive. And it'll also allow some time for some different things to come to fruition, because the internet is doing what the internet is doing as it pertains to them kids, mamas, and their household. Thank you, Sister Bashwitz. Sis, what is your take on the 2 Black women who were mistreated while being active? Like, girl, That is another show as well. Because I don't think that people believe that Black women are at a detriment in hospitals and clinics. I don't think people believe that. If you've never read the book Medical Apartheid, you should read it. Black people in general have always been at a deficit in this country medically. We've been experimented on, so forth and on. Women, as Black women especially, the mortality rate for Black women in childbirth is too high for us to be in 2025 going in 2026 with modern medicine. It's too high. Now, there's always going to be risk factors and things of that nature. You can't eliminate it. Nobody's saying that you can't eliminate it, right? When death comes, it comes. But the way in which these women were treated in active labor, not just, oh, I got a few contractions and no. HVAC said them kids be sick. Listen. Oh my goodness, that deserves a deep dive. So we're gonna take a deep dive in the Chicago thing Friday. Also, don't forget to tune in to Ask a Brother podcast. I'm gonna be on there tomorrow evening, and we're gonna have a wonderful conversation as we usually do. So make sure that you tune in for that as well. I want to thank everybody for coming through. We're gonna cover the Chicago thing, I promise, on Friday's show. We're definitely going to cover it. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host of The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.